It was a busy weekend for Chinese actress Zhang Ziyi, who returned to Hollywood to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, the legendary movie that catapulted her onto the global stage. She received the Gold Bridge Legacy Award, a recognition for her cultural impact and role as a cinematic bridge between East and West. On Saturday, May 10th, she attended the 4th annual Gold House Gala in Los Angeles to jointly accept the Gold Generation Award with Crouching Tiger director Ang Lee. But perhaps the biggest honor of all, and a deeply personal one for Ziyi, was the long-awaited hug and validation from none other than Ang Lee. Audience erupted when Lee gave Ziyi a big, long, and passionate hug on stage at the special 35mm rescreening of Crouching Tiger at the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures on Friday, May 9th, along with a kiss on the cheek. The moment wasn't just nostalgia, it was vindication. Because for Ziyi, that hug marked something she had waited 25 years to receive, acknowledgement from one of the greatest directors of our time. Why was it so emotional for her? Because even though Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was a huge success and a defining moment for her career, the filming and on-set experience was a deeply excruciating one for a then 19-year-old Zhang Ziyi. Fresh off her first film role in The Road Home, Ziyi wasn't even Ang Lee's first pick for the role of Zhen Yu. In the early casting stages, Lee had his eyes on more established actresses like Shu Ji. Even as Ziyi had already started martial arts training for the role, Lee was still auditioning other actresses. The uncertainty was crushing. As an inexperienced young actress back then, Ziyi waited on the sidelines while bigger names like Michelle Yeoh and Chow Yun-fat got to film first, and she admitted years later that she cried a lot while on set. Ang Lee didn't make it easier. He chain-smoked silently behind the monitor, offering no praise, no guidance, just a cold stare. While others received coaching and feedback, Ziyi was left to figure it out herself. And what triggered her the most, and why this hug 25 years later meant so much to her, was because Ang Lee would hug other actors after each scene. She got none. The pair also reminisced about this while on stage at the rescreening event.
Larger-than-life characters, they're so physically demanding. You have a director that's scowling at you a lot and yelling at you, which I'm just learning tonight. What was that experience like for you?
The transition wasn't easy. When Aunt chose me, it was like being pulled into an online game. There was no way out. And in martial movies, when your body becomes a second language, it opens up richer creative space, which is brilliant, but really it wasn't hard. It wasn't easy to get it. So I think I had the same feeling as you, director.
You wanted to yell at him too.
Yeah, I had so much pressure. I couldn't even dare to look at him.
Perhaps Ang Lee's approach was intentional, or it was very typical of, say, an Asian dad's way of pushing the younger generation to try harder and do better. While Ziyi's dancer background gave her grace and dexterity, the wire work and martial arts in Crouching Tiger demanded something different. Brute strength, endurance, pain. She smashed her hands on bamboo, ripped fingernails off, shoved bleeding fingers into the snow, all without whining a peep. What if Ang Lee thinks I'm not good enough, she thought. Lee's cold demeanor was like a blade, cutting deep enough to draw out the very essence of Zhen Yu, her fierce defiance, inner struggles, and the constant conflicts between vulnerability and pride. While others have said how it was the Crouching Tiger movie that made Ziyi Lee, in hindsight, called Ziyi the film's blessing. She was the hidden dragon. Ziyi later reflected on Weibo, calling it a special moment, full of warmth and honor. When Ang Lee embraced her, it reminded her of a similar hug years ago at the Cannes Film Festival, a moment that also brought her to tears. But this time, she felt as though she could truly hear Lee's heart, genuine, vulnerable, and finally expressive. That hug, she wrote, was his silent affirmation. What was missed 25 years ago, she said, he has now made up for in his own way and timing. As Ziyi said on stage, quoting from the film's climactic moment, "I'm so glad that Ziyi made it to this weekend's event because 2 weeks ago she had a terrible fall at the 2025 Huabiao Film Awards in China, where she tripped on something while wearing sky-high heels while walking off stage. She had to be wheeled in and out and went through treatment. Can we just spend a minute to appreciate how she hasn't aged at all in 25 years? If you're curious about what Ziyi has been up to since her retreat from Hollywood, check out this video I made earlier." The Crouching Tiger actress announced the end of her first marriage of 8 years. Ironically, people were not that surprised and said it's been a long time coming. As I discussed in the previous video, fans were not pleased when she and Wang Feng got married in 2015 because the guy is a notorious womanizer who had previously married 4 times. They have 2 beautiful children together, and throughout this relationship, it did seem like a happy family from all these photos, and they even went on to a reality TV show to demonstrate their love for each other. But this has finally come to an end. In her public announcement, Ziyi made it sound like an amicus divorce and there were no affairs or betrayals. But people have their own assumptions. The most convincing one, I think, again it's just speculation, is that Wang swindled money at casinos, losing not only his own funds but the couple's mutual assets. In China, Wang does have a reputation of being a serial gambler. Personally, I feel very happy about her being single again, which means she can refocus her energy back to movie making. In fact, right after her divorce announcement, Ziyi attended a Dior event in Shanghai, and she never looked better, so glowing and vibrant. And her new movie, The Murderer by Peter Chan, it was really a shame for Ziyi to leave Hollywood after a series of successes she had had, from Crouching Tiger to Memoirs of a Geisha and The Grandmaster. So I'm really hoping that she can put behind this divorce and revive her career, hopefully win an Oscar one day like Michelle Yeoh.